Hidden truths. The camera's red light blinked in the dark. A silent traitor nestled in the Dacha's rafters. I'd hidden it there last weekend, my hands trembling as I tucked it behind the dusty beams, guilt gnawing at my gut. My mother-in-law Irina had been acting strange for weeks. Furtive glances, hushed phone calls, and that nervous laugh she'd never had before. I told myself it was for her safety. The Dacha was remote, tucked deep in the pine forest, and she'd been spending too many nights there alone. But as I sat in my dim living room, the grainy footage flickering on my laptop, my heart pounded with a different fear. The truth, I realized, might not be what I wanted to see. The screen showed the Dacha's cozy interior. The worn plaid couch, the chipped teacup on the table, the faint hum of crickets through the open window. Irina appeared, her silver hair catching the lamplight as she moved with a strange urgency, glancing over her shoulder. My breath hitched. She wasn't alone. A man's shadow stretched across the floorboards, tall and familiar. My stomach twisted as he stepped into frame. Sergei, my husband's best friend since childhood. His easy grin, the one that always disarmed me at family dinners, now felt like a blade. "Why are you here?" Irina's voice was sharp, but it trembled. Not fear, something softer, more dangerous. Regret? Longing? Sergei leaned against the counter, too close. "You know why, Irina? Don't play games." His tone was low, intimate, like they'd had this conversation before. My fingers froze on the keyboard. This wasn't a burglary or a threat. This was something else, something that made my chest ache with a betrayal I couldn't yet name. I rewound the footage, desperate to disprove what I'd seen. Maybe it was innocent. Irina was 62, widowed for years, and Sergei was family, practically her son. But the way her hand lingered on his arm, the way his eyes softened when she spoke, it wasn't familial. It was raw, unguarded, like a secret they'd both been carrying too long. My mind raced, piecing together months of odd moments. Irina's sudden trips to the Dacha, Sergei's vague excuses for missing poker nights, the way they'd laugh a little too loudly together at Christmas. I'd brushed it off as affection, not the "Why now?" Irina whispered on the screen, her voice breaking. "After all this time, why can't we just let it go?" "Because I can't," Sergei said, stepping closer. "Not after last summer. Not after you looked at me like that." His hand brushed her cheek and she didn't pull away. My throat tightened. Last summer, when Irina had stayed at the Dacha for weeks, claiming she needed peace. When Sergei had offered to check on her. My husband, Dmitry, had laughed, saying Sergei was just being kind. Kind. The word tasted bitter now. I wanted to scream, to call Dmitry and demand answers, but doubt paralyzed me. What if I was wrong? What if this was just a moment, a lapse, not an affair? Irina had been my rock since Dmitry's father died. She taught me to make borscht, held my hand through miscarriages, loved me like her own. And Sergei? He'd been Dmitry's shadow, loyal to a fault. Or so I'd thought. The idea of them together felt like a violation, not just of trust but of the family we'd built. Yet part of me, a small, shameful part, wondered if Irina deserved this. A spark of joy after years of loneliness. I hated myself for even thinking it. The footage kept rolling. Irina pulled away, her hands shaking. "This is wrong, Sergei. Dmitry trusts you. Anna trusts me." My name on her lips hit like a slap. "If they knew." "They won't," Sergei cut in, his voice firm but desperate. "We're careful. We've always been careful." The words sank into me like stones. Always. This wasn't a fleeting mistake. This was a secret they'd nurtured, hidden behind smiles and lies. I paused the video, my hands clammy. The Dacha's stillness on the screen mirrored the quiet in my chest. A hollow calm before rage. I could confront them, shatter the facade, but what then? Dmitry would be devastated, not just by Sergei's betrayal but by his mother's. Me. I'd lose the woman who'd become my second mother. The family we'd stitched together would unravel. But staying silent felt like swallowing poison. Then the footage flickered and a new clip loaded. A different night. Irina sat alone, sobbing into her hands, her voice a broken whisper. "I'm sorry, Anna. I'm so sorry." My heart stopped. She knew about the camera. She'd found it, and still she'd let the truth spill. The betrayal wasn't just hers and Sergei's. It was mine too, for spying, for doubting her without asking. The guilt twisted with my anger, leaving me dizzy. I closed the laptop, the room suffocatingly silent. The truth was out, but it wasn't the affair that broke me. It was the realization that we were all complicit. Irina in her longing, Sergei in his weakness, me in my secrecy. And Dmitri, blissfully unaware, was the only innocent one left. I stared at the phone, his number glowing on the screen. One call could end it all. Or I could hide the truth just as they had. The choice was mine, and it felt like betrayal either way.